Hello, everyone. Welcome to our time together here. We're excited that you have decided to join us for the next few minutes.
It is exciting to see our audience grow
And
and sending
loyal, like
questions.
loyal,
Yes,
committed. We love it.
it's perfect because that is the reason why we create this content. We want you to be able to find information that is useful for your relationships, for your person, for your individuality.
Yes.
And today we're actually talking about attachment styles. Attachments is a big word, and a lot of people don't understand. Like you can talk about codependency, you can talk about boundaries, but you talk to them about like, do you know your attachment style? It's like, what is that?
What
Are
is
you
that?
speaking
Well,
Spanish to me?
In psychology, attachment theory has to do with the ways you relate or you attach emotionally to your loved ones, to someone else, to your parents, to your husband, to your wife. So it is like there are healthy ways, obviously, and there's so not healthy ways
Yes.
to get attached to those relationships. I
And-
love that we're so attached to one another.
Is it secure?
In a
Is
good
it
way.
healthy?
In a good way. I love how we are connected. I love that. So
Now, we could talk about how we are a pretty decent example of having grown up, not necessarily with a healthy, secure attachment style and working through becoming decently secure and independent.
seriously, because there's hope. And if we could do it, anybody can do it.
We both come from dysfunctional families, so we always talk about that in our conferences, and even share with some of our clients that you don't have to come from the right place or from the perfect place. Sometimes we find so much shame in our past, so much shame and pain in our upbringing, and we get connected to it and find that we allow it to kind of like to become our identity for the rest of our lives. But it doesn't have to be. We made commitments that we didn't want to repeat what we saw growing up, the things that were not good. We've embraced the good ones that we saw, the good examples that our parents gave us.
That's it.
And what was not good, we've tried to put to the side and develop different ways. So attachments, you may be now thinking, oh, okay, so that determines how I relate to that. Yes, the way that your primary caregiver, your mom, your dad, or whoever was responsible for you, some of you grew up with a grandma or with a nanny.
Even the nanny,
yes.
the babysitter.
So the way that they took care of you, the way that they gave you attention, the way that they met your needs, how that dynamic took place helped you develop your attachment style.
That's why we often ask the question, I think we always do, how close do you feel with your mom growing up? How close do you feel with your father growing up? Because it tells us, okay, was it like distant kind of relationship? Was it like close? Do you feel like you could go to them? You had access to them to bring any type of emotional, response or attitude, whatever it was that you wanted to bring to them. Do you feel comfortable enough to go to your parents?
And even siblings, Jorge.
Even siblings, yeah.
One of the cases that I've been working on recently, this young girl, 15 years old, and we see that her attachment is just all over the place. And part of it is because the parents were not there. They were there, but they were not there for her. And some things happen to her, abusive behaviors from other of the siblings, that she learned that she could not even trust her own siblings because parents were not attentive to even that. So sometimes even our own siblings, when you have one that bullies you or you have one that, does that, contributes because it's someone that is there from your little years all the way through, creating and putting an influence in your life. So I know some of you are thinking, okay, so I grew up here, I grew up there, like my mom, my dad, my siblings, all of that determines a lot of how you behave today. How does a healthy attachment, Jorge, different theories call 3 attachment styles, other theories call for 4. There's some, but the bottom line is that there's a healthy way and there are some unhealthy ways of dealing with
And
it.
there's some mixed ways
And
also that people deal
typically
with.
in our podcast and in our talks, we're talking with regular people. It's not a conference with peers, with professionals.
Right.
So we try to speak the more down to earth, the easiest to be understood possible. So let's talk a little bit about what would it look like to have a healthy attachment style.
Well, that's known as the secure attachment. It's the one that enhances who you are. It makes you more confident because you actually had a pretty decent relationship with your parents growing up. You had access to them. You never felt that abandonment. You don't regret any of those situations or any. You don't have any stories replaying in your brain, in your mind about things that frustrated you or that got you traumatized.
I want to stop you there, Jorge, because you used a word that is so important. You said they were there and you didn't feel abandoned.
Right.
A lot of people think that a bad childhood or not great parenting was that they were provided to and that, the parents lived together and that they had a house and they went to a good school. And, that they feel that, I had it really good. And they don't realize that emotionally the parents weren't present.
Right.
Or psychologically. Or there was not a whole lot of physical affection. And they were neglected in those areas of their lives. So even though they had it good and they had all of these positive things, there was an aspect of them, a big aspect of becoming an independent, secure human that was not nurtured. And they're like going like, oh, because it's not attached to a negative feeling about the parents. You spanked me. You were mean to me. It's not even that. It's just that they were not there.
Correct. So that we all understand, the attachment style will actually define the way you relate, the way you are intimate with your partner, if you're married, or in your relationship, if you're dating or whatever. It defines the way, because some people, the truth is, Denisa, that many people grew up with the wrong model of intimacy. They did not ever learn how to relate, how to reach out, how to initiate, how to go to express what you're feeling, because they were not given the opportunity, or they were never modeled in their household.
They couldn't practice.
Right. So then you grow up with all these whatever voids or whatever lack of data in your mind, for lack of another way to say it. And then you come to a formal relationship. Now as a grown-up, you get married. And then you get all complaints all time from your spouse.
Because they don't show up either.
Because you're not doing like what they expect, right? But I'm not trying to justify it. Nonetheless, I'm trying to explain, hopefully to get to the root of these things. Because I think those are the destroying factors of any relationship, is the lack of skills. And most of these things you can just learn. Say you come from a very unstable background, you can actually learn to become better at your intimacy. You can
definitely
learn it. That's what we teach all day.
Yes. So
That's
it is possible to overcome it. It is possible to grow. It is possible to develop the skills. But Jorge, the same way that as children and adolescents, nobody showed up for them. They learn not to show up for people. So they can be unreliable. But when we have a secure attachment, we show up and we navigate the differences. We don't run away. We're not anxious that you're going to leave me, that you're not going to be here, that if you see the true me, you're going to go away. Or I'm not in my own bubble, that I'm not even going to try because I'm just going to protect myself. We are healthy enough that, this could hurt. There is a risk involved in relating with another person. There is a risk involved in investing. I could lose something, but you know what? I'm strong enough that I can take that risk. And,
I love it.
And what a good opportunity, to discover that not everybody's going to run away from your life and not everyone is going to go MIA.
Absolutely. There's another style that is more like creates anxiety. Anxious attachment style is the one that actually makes you very nervous about a certain relationship. you're always questioning, wondering whether this is real, whether this is really nourishing to you or nurturing, which is even your ability to produce those things to the person.
And
in
that
the
style
relationship.
comes from parents that were there and were not there. They were there and they were not there.
Like you don't know that you can count on anybody or that they can count on you. So it's a pretty kind of a not so healthy because it creates a lot of anxiety, as the name calls for.
Yeah, in the e-course, we do provide tools for you to figure out what your attachment style is, what your tendency, where's the scale being tipped at. If you're in a relationship, you can do it together and you can discover, so that's why we're having these issues. Then let's solve these. We're good because you are good, because the essence of you is good, because who you were created to be is great. We just need to work out those little details. And one of the things, Jorge, is important for people to know is that this is not personality related. You can have a personality that is quiet, that is a little bit more to yourself, and still have a secure, healthy attachment style. This doesn't mean that you're going to become, like explosive and extrovert and all of that. We maintain our personalities, who we are. We just become healthy at being able to relate when it comes to intimacy. And
there's the avoidant style, attachment style, which is obviously, as the name suggests, is running away from intimacy. Every aspect of intimacy is unknown, unfamiliar, or I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to connect emotionally. I don't want to connect spiritually with anybody. I don't want to connect sexually with anybody. So it is very, very self-centered, kind of. And you always do your best to stay away from your partner. So this is why it's so important.
They checked out already.
It is important. It's like stonewalling. Gottman talks about stonewalling as one of the horsemen, right? So it's like stonewalling. You just put this fence in front of you because you're such expert at dwelling, navigating, and exploring inside your bubble. That's where you prefer.
And those are the ones that they tease with a relationship, and they go and do something, and they do something, and there's never a commitment. They never really truly show up. So be very careful, those of you who are dating, that you're dating someone that, shows up on their terms. And you know what? It takes a lot of courage for them to do that little bit of a tease, and then they always disqualify the person.
Actually, that is exactly the right time to find out tendencies. Because if you're like serious about this relationship that you're dating, whatever your dating relationship, that's eventually going to turn into your marriage. I mean, right? So that's the right time to discover, to explore, to learn, to seek help if necessary, so that you can prepare yourself for a better future together.
All right, we're running out of time.
Gosh,
what's the last attachment?
There's the combination. The last one is the combination of avoidant, anxious attachment, and what this creates is a fear-based attachment that is not healthy either.
It's the worst, really, of the
fear-based. There's nobody who can become better who they are under a fear-based system or a fear-based atmosphere, as we say.
But you know what, guys? That's why we've created the course. There's way more information in there. There's guidance. There's ways to identify you, your partner, the people around your life. And there is strategies for us to become healthy, for us to become whole, for us to become well and enjoy life and enjoy our relationships and be free to love and to risk things not going perfect. And
love and be loved.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
So we want to encourage you to visit our website. We have this and so many other resources so great for you and your relationship. The website is ccicounseling.com. ccicounseling.com. It's ready for you, so it's very easy access. So go find out all the great benefits you're going to find there. And we really hope and trust that your relationship is going to improve in ways that you never thought possible.
Yes.
So
Until
thank you for joining
episode.
us. Yes. Ciao, ciao.